I truly believe that Modern Warfare is the best, worst Call of Duty of all time. Let me explain. I started playing Call of Duty 11 years ago in Call of Duty World at War. Now, at the time, I was like 15 years old and was really bad at the game. My kill death was something like 0.65, and the thing that kept me playing and coming back to the game was wanting to improve. And eventually, by Modern Warfare 2 or even Black Ops 1, I was well above a 2, pushing a 3 kill death ratio. So clearly, practice makes perfect. And with those games, really, that was what drove me to play more, to be a better player, was raising that kill death ratio, and eventually in Modern Warfare 2, getting nukes and getting high kill streaks. 7 years later, I was a full-time YouTuber making Call of Duty videos, and at the time, playing Black Ops 3. And late in that game's life cycle, I made a video saying that Black Ops 3 was the best Call of Duty game ever. And what I meant by that is I loved the gameplay mechanics. I loved the movement. I loved the way weapons worked. I loved the balance of the game. I thought it played absolutely incredible, but all of the small details in the game were pretty bad. The loot system, or the way you got DLC weapons, was really egregious. On top of that, there was a season pass system where not everyone could play the maps, so if you had the maps, you were playing against the best of the best players. On top of that, there were little things like not being able to join friends' parties and play together simply because of NAT type. The game played amazing, but the small details of it really made the rest of the game a little bit lackluster. 4 years later, we're here playing Modern Warfare, and it is the complete opposite of Black Ops 3. They did all of the little things right. There is no season pass, so everyone has all of the DLC maps and is playing together. The battle pass system is the least egregious system we have ever seen in a Call of Duty game and is relatively consumer friendly. There is crossplay, so you can play with your friends on a completely different console. On top of that, the things like the graphics in the game are bar none probably the best we've ever seen in a Call of Duty game before, and on top of that, the sound design is like nothing we've ever seen as well, aside from maybe the footsteps. But if I'm being honest with you guys, I don't enjoy playing this game. And I won't lie to you guys, this isn't uncommon for Call of Duty games for me. Generally speaking, 6, 7, 8 months into the game's life cycle, I kind of just get sick of it and get bored playing that game. That's why a lot of the videos on my channel, like the story videos or Evolution, are multiple different Call of Duties, because I still love Call of Duty, but I might get sick of an individual game. But never a month or two into a Call of Duty game have I not enjoyed playing this much. Now don't get me wrong, the enjoyment that I do get out of this game is literally uploading video for you guys, seeing your responses and everything like that. That is where I'm really getting the enjoyment out of this game. But as far as sitting down and playing it for hours, I haven't done that. I didn't hit level 155 in that first season that we saw there. Will I do it this time? I honestly don't know. So the real question after this is why? Why don't I enjoy playing this game as much as previous Call of Duties? And I think it comes down to one major design flaw in Modern Warfare. When you look at Call of Duty as a series, generally speaking, there are two different types of players who play the game. There's your everyday average person who just walked into Best Buy, sees Modern Warfare on sale, picks it up, and throws it in their PlayStation, Xbox, PC, whatever. They maybe play 5 hours a week at the very most, and then there's your other set of players. Players like me, players like probably you watching this video, who are the more hardcore players. They look at all of the patch notes. They try to find out what weapons are the best. They try to rank up the fastest, unlock camos, and really grind out the game, maybe even upwards of 20 to 40 hours a week, almost like a full-time job. Those are what the developers consider their hardcore players. And if we're being honest, and it may come as a surprise to you, but as far as Call of Duty goes, every single year, there are a lot more casual players than hardcore players, by 10-folds, even 100-folds. And when it comes to designing a Call of Duty game, there has to be a nice combination of gameplay for both types of people. You see, if I get put into a lobby against a bunch of these casual players, I will destroy them. Probably most of you watching this video, if you play against a lobby of casual players, you're going to have a pretty damn good time. And those casual players are going to pick up the game and go, well, why should I even be playing this? The problem with Modern Warfare is a lot of the game design decisions and the base gameplay are for those casual players. It's not as rewarding for us who are sitting there playing the game upwards of 40 hours a week every single week. Now, I don't just want to talk shit here, I want to give examples and ways of fixing it. As far as one of these design decisions, I think one of the biggest ones is the way Ghost works in this game. Ghost works like older Call of Duty games where you use it and you never show up on a UAV. If you're sitting in a corner, if you're laying prone, if you're not moving at all, you could stay in the same spot for the entire game, and the enemies call in 7, 8, 12, 32 UAVs, you will not show up on that minimap. You'll stay hidden, and this helps newer players. It just straight up does. If you're a newer player, it's going to be to your advantage to not move as much, sit in corners, and to not be revealed on the UAV. It gives them a bigger advantage to, as where in more recent Call of Duty games, the way that Ghost works is you had to be literally sprinting and running around for you not to show up on the UAV using Ghost. Now, this comes as a big problem in Modern Warfare because of the way the minimap works. In this game, the minimap does not even show red dots if you fire a weapon that is not silenced. I believe this is the first time since at least Call of Duty 4 where that has been the case. Now, this means if you're a new player and you are using Ghost, you will never show up on that minimap. The only way for enemies to be able to tell where you are is for them to see you or hear where your weapon is coming from, or hear your footsteps. Now, footsteps are another one of these examples. As far as footsteps go, footsteps are incredibly loud in this game. You can hear them from a pretty long distance away, and they have been nerfed a couple of times, but the truth of the fact is, as far as footsteps go, if you're one of these players who is not moving, who is sitting in a corner, who is using Ghost, camping their asses off, they're not moving. So the thing that they're going to hear is those loud footsteps coming their way. So it is to a huge advantage in this game to not move, to sit there, to, once again, camp. And we can go on with examples like this, like Dead Silence, first of all, not being a perk, only being able to use it as a field upgrade. Once again, Dead Silence makes it so that if you're a rushing player, enemies can't hear where you're coming from, or at least it makes it difficult for them to hear where you're coming from, and helps those hardcore, faster rushing players. Now here's the thing, I know that's not everyone's opinion, but based off of all of the comments, tweets, things that I am seeing within the community, I feel like that's what the majority of the more hardcore and dedicated players actually want. And correct me if I'm wrong, you can let me know your opinion down in the comments, but that's just generally speaking what I am seeing. Now, on top of this, there's the skill-based matchmaking that's in the game, and I'm not going to go too in-depth with this one, but basically, Drifter Exclusive Ace did some testing, found out that if you do better in subsequent Call of Duty games, matches, the next game, you'll be matched with higher kill-death ratio players. So if you get 6 games in a row where you get a 4 kill death, the next game, you're going to get matched with someone who is also rocking that 4 kill death ratio, which makes it very difficult for you to actually improve. If this system works perfectly, all of a sudden you won't have that 4 kill death, you'll just be stuck at a 1 kill death ratio forever. Remember how I said at the beginning of the video, back when I played Call of Duty World at War, the thing that kept me playing, the thing that wanted me to get better was to raise that kill death ratio? It's very difficult to do that in this game with the type of skill-based matchmaking that's in there. The developers have not once addressed skill-based matchmaking, and it might be something they're not allowed to talk about, which is frustrating because a lot of people want to see this changed. And as far as what the community is seeing with things like Ashton, the community manager at Infinity Ward, tweeting, "This is going to be the big update," and then nothing changing that these people want to see changed, it gets frustrating, and it really ruins the communication between the player and the developer, which in some cases they're doing good, and in some cases they're doing things like this. So I'm just going to be honest, when I went to Infinity Ward to see Season 1 early, I talked to a whole bunch of the developers. By the way, I don't know if I'm allowed to tell you guys this, but here we go. I talked to a bunch of the developers, asking them questions about these different things, about skill-based matchmaking, about Ghost, about the minimap, about Dead Silence, and I'm not going to give direct details as to what they said, but from everything I heard and was told, none of this is planned to be changed. Zero. None of it is in the works, none of it is changing, and if it is, Ashton or one of the developers, come out and say it, because as of right now, from everything I understand, none of these things people are asking for are changing. Zero. And it goes back to that famous clip that you guys have probably seen an ass load at this point from Joe Seacott, which, by the way, he's a really nice guy. I talk to him pretty much every time I go to Infinity Ward. But he basically came out and said that this game is developed for those newer players, to get more players to come to the game and feel more comfortable playing it.
An approach that you're describing there isn't going to come at the expense of the hardcore players, right?
That's not the plan, right? But we want to make sure that we don't want someone who's, how to say this, lower skill to have a bad experience. We want someone who's higher skill to have a bad experience.
I think that is why in this community that we have built around Call of Duty with these more hardcore players, a lot of people are kind of upset as to how Modern Warfare actually plays. And from everything I've seen, from everything we've seen in updates, it doesn't appear to be changing anytime soon. And that is why I truly believe, even though this game has so many great things like no season pass, a non-egregious battle pass, great sound design, except for footsteps, great graphic design, this is still the best, worst Call of Duty game. So that's kind of my opinion. At this point, really my review of Modern Warfare up until this point. But at this point, I want to leave it up to you guys. I want to hear what you guys think about the game. Feel free to leave a paragraph, maybe just a couple of points as to the things you'd like to see change, the things you like, the things you dislike. And the other thing I'd love to know is, when did you start playing? Did you start this year? Did you start a couple years ago? Have you been like me and been playing all the way since 2007, 2008? Let me hear about it down in the comments below, because I want to kind of see where players are coming from and then what they think of Modern Warfare. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. And of course, if you enjoyed the video, it is always appreciated if you hit that like button. And if you like what you see here, want to stay up to date on my videos, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you turn notifications on. And as always, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. And until next time, peace out.
We are reaching for the stars, but we're making